What's good, everybody? Today we're going to be matchmaking the fighters we care about from UFC 324. This was a good card, honestly. It was a good start to the Paramount era. They had some good finishes, a good main event, some good outcomes. You know, the Patty hate watch was amazing. Anyway, let's decide what's next for these fighters, starting with Justin Gaethje. I'm sorry, brother. It's time. Your time has come. She took the kids, Justin. Se llevó a mis hijos. Man, it's over. It's post-divorce Topuria. It's not looking good for Justin Gaethje. This motherfucker has had to fight Oliveira in his prime. Like, prime comeback after they stripped the belt from him, after he became a father. He had to fight Khabib after Khabib lost his dad, and now he has to fight Topuria after Topuria got divorced with his wife. This is not looking good. Not looking good at all. If you have to bet, you know who to bet on, and it's not Justin Gaethje. We're making this fight, honestly, because it's what's needed after someone wins an interim. We don't really... If it was up to me, Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett would have never happened for an interim belt. To me, those are like the 4th and 5th best lightweights on the planet. They're not even close to being 3, 4, or 3, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st best. Like, I think Max Holloway, maybe 2nd best fighter in the lightweight division. Then we got Armin is the 1st best fighter, like number 1 contender. And then, of course, we have Ilya up there, the champ. And then Oliveira would be the 3rd best around there. And then Gaethje 4th, Paddy 5th, something like that. But definitely not fit for an interim title. And we're going to see this with this unification match. Topuria is going to kill Justin Gaethje. I'll make a predictions video when it's time to make the fights. But yeah, it's not looking good for our boy. Making Topuria versus Gaethje just because it's the obligatory thing to do. If it was up to me, we'd move maybe either Topuria versus Armin. We'd have done the title fight different for the interim, but whatever. It is what it is. Next, the loser of the interim fight, Paddy Pimblett. First of all, it was great to watch this man lose. For him, I'd love to say like, oh man, this is what we wanted. But honestly, for Paddy as a fighter, he needs to take a loss at this point in his career. And it's a good loss to take because it was dominant. He got lost. He got beat across 5 rounds. Sure, he got eye poked. Sure, he got nut shot a little bit. But he got beat across 5 rounds. He's seen what needs to be worked on his end. He knows what he needs to improve. And most important is he knows he's not the best lightweight in the world. And he's not even close. If Gaethje at 38 can do this to you, imagine what Ilya would have done. Imagine what Max or Oliveira would do at this point, right? So I'm making him against the loser of Max versus Charles, the loser of the BMF fight. I think this is going to be Oliveira. So that's going to be an interesting fight because we're going to see some jiu-jitsu. We're going to compare the two best guys at lightweight. Because who's better than these two, than Paddy and Oliveira at jiu-jitsu? In this division? Armin, maybe? We saw Armin versus Oliveira, and in the jiu-jitsu exchanges, he was getting out-grappled. So we're going to be seeing if Paddy is better than Oliveira, and if he's not, then we're going to have like those discussions with Paddy and Armin for 2nd best jiu-jitsu grappler in the lightweight division. But yeah, man, I mean, the fight with Oliveira, if that's what comes to be, is going to be an interesting matchup. The fight with Max would also be an interesting matchup if Oliveira ends up winning that, which I hope he doesn't. I love Oliveira, but I think the division needs to move on, right? We can't get Oliveira versus Ilya 2. We can't get, I don't know. I mean, Oliveira versus Armin, if that's what ends up happening later down the line, that would be fire, but you know how it is. Paddy versus the loser of Max and Charles. I think that's the fight to make. It's gonna just give him some time. Do it like in 6 months or 6 or 7 months. 6 or 7 months from now. See how that goes. See if Paddy's improved or if he's let his ego get a hold of him. We're gonna see in these next coming days the type of excuses Paddy puts up on his story. If he makes any excuses, we'll see. We'll see how this evolves. I'm hopeful that Paddy evolves as a fighter and can actually, change his style, add some wrestling, add some striking defense. Everything that he was missing from that fight. Next, Sean O'Malley won against Song Yadong by decision, and we're going to make him against the winner of Yan versus Merab. Now, again, I don't like this fight. And I know I'm the one matchmaking, so I should do however I want, but I have to make it realistic. And the UFC is just itching to give O'Malley any chance at the title. Like, they gave him 2 title fights against Merab back-to-back, as if he was some sort of dominant champion. Bro had 1 defense against Chito Vera, who was like 7th ranked at the time. We're going to do O'Malley versus the winner of Yan and Merab. And I hope, for the sake of this fight, I hope that it's Yan, because that would be more interesting. Because imagine a third Marab versus O'Malley fight, bro. Like, if it was first fight O'Malley versus Marab, he gets submitted. Second fight, he gets a close decision. But it was close decision and like domination submission. Like, there's nothing we can see from O'Malley right now. Nothing that tells me that he's ready for a Marab matchup. He was getting out wrestled by Song Yadong too in this fight. So I'm not. I do O'Malley versus hopefully Yan for this fight. Overall, I think I want Marab to win. But for this fight, it would be O'Malley versus Yan. That would be peak. Next, the loser of O'Malley versus Song, which was Yadong, obviously. Yading Dong. Yadong versus Figgy. They're at similar spots in their career. They just fought on the same card. We saw Figgy lose to Umar by decision. We saw Song lose to O'Malley by decision. They fought on the same card, so they'd be ready around the same time. Neither of them got super injured, it looked like, or injured at all. I mean, Yadong was taking some damage. Umar, I don't know. I mean Umar. Figgy, maybe in those grappling exchanges, he could have injured something, but I think they'd be ready around the same amount of time. They're in similar places in the division, and I think this would be Figgy's like last chance in this area in the division. Last chance to get anything going, really. If you want to give him that benefit of the doubt. He's old. He's had some issues making weight. I don't know. I think they're at a point in their career where Yadong would benefit from this fight. And it's kind of like a gifted fight a little bit for Figgy, which he doesn't really deserve, but it is what it is. Make this fight. The loser fights someone outside the rankings or someone very low in the top 15, something like that. I think Yadong takes this by decision. But we'll make those matchups if this comes to fruition. We'll make those predictions. Next, Acosta versus Blades. My goodness. Papi I Know Black. Papi I Know Black versus Papi I Black. This guy for sure is black. No doubts about it. Other guy, bro, it's like they look super similar and you're saying Papi I Know Black. Like, let's be honest. Let's be for real. I don't mean Papi. Alright. So, Acosta just beat Derek Lewis by weird investigate Derek Lewis immediately for gambling this knockout. That was like a counter jab that grazed him on the chin. Grazed with no power. There was no world in which that should have been a knockout. But whatever. I think it's time for Waldo to get a real step up against someone who's established in the top echelon of the heavyweight division. I don't consider Derek established because if you look at Derek's career, he's never dominated anyone. He's never beat someone by decision or like late knockout where the fight was already going to be taken by him by decision. If he wins by early knockout or like comeback knockout later down the line. I don't consider Derek Lewis someone who's super skilled in the heavyweight division, someone who's established at that weight class. Like someone you put him against to test a prospect. I don't think Derek Lewis is that, because Derek Lewis could bomb Tom Aspinall and knock him out in the first round just because he has that kind of fluke power. Now, someone who has been in the top, he's given the top guys tough fights, he's a tough out, Curtis Blades. This is the real test in wrestling, in striking, and everything. This is the real test for Waldo Cortez Acosta. You know, Curtis Blades has bigger nipples, as we can see from this image. So yeah, I think he'd give him some problems. I'd go with Blades for this fight. I have to check how old Blades is. I don't remember, but I'd go with Blades for this fight. But again, that's something for the matchmaking video. And who knows, you know? Waldo Cortez Acosta, he has a lot of momentum behind him. He's riding a 3-fight win streak. He's fought a bunch of times in 2025. This is his first fight in 2026, obviously, but he's going to have 2 or 3 more probably. So yeah, let's make this fight. Let's test Acosta. Let's see how black he really is. Next, Derek Lewis. Speaking of the black beast himself. Whoa. Does Ante Delija have a third nipple? Whoa, look at that, bro. He's got a third nipple. I just noticed. Fire, bro. Extra milk, I guess. So both of these guys just lost their last fight to the same guy, actually. Now I realize. Yeah, Delija lost to Waldo. And Lewis lost to Waldo as well. They both lost by knockout. So, yeah, just make this fight. They're at similar points in the division. Although that doesn't really matter for Lewis, because at this point you could just make any fight with him. I don't think he has title aspirations. I think he just kind of wants money from fights. So make this fight. Let's see how Ante goes against the power puncher. Let's see how he does in this striking matchup. This for sure is going to be no wrestling in this fight. And yeah, let's see the teammate of Tom Aspinall, how good he really is. And hopefully doesn't get fluked by Lewis. I'd make that fight. They're both at a good point in their career. Let's do it. Next, Yair versus Silva. Now, this is a weird matchup, and I don't think this is what they're going to do in the UFC. Although on paper, it's a lot like looking at the rankings, who's booked versus who. I don't think this is what they're going to do. And I think it depends a lot on the title fight and how that goes. So as we know, Volk is fighting Lopez, unfucking fortunately, at UFC 325. And as we know, as I said, I think he's going to win by knockout. I've repeated it a bunch of times, but whatever. Like at this point, I'm tired of even thinking about it. Yair versus Silva is a fight that is very dependent on if Lopez beats Volk or not. If Lopez beats Volk, they probably give Silva a shot against Lopez. And because of the beef, because of the they've lost, Silva lost before to Lopez. I don't know. There's also some beef with Yair versus Lopez, so they could do that, but that would be really fucked, right? Like if they give Yair a title shot after beating Pitbull was his last win. If it was up to me, I'd do Yair versus Silva for like a number one contender shot, and I would do so. Assuming Lopez beats Volk, Volk retires. There's a number one contenders fight around the same time between Murphy and Evloev. The winner of that fight gets the next title shot against Lopez. And then these two fight. And the winner of this fight gets the next title shot against the winner of Lopez versus the winner of Murphy and Evloev. It's very convoluted. I wish I had a little diagram to show you guys. But this is a very situational fight. This is today not looking at, not thinking about the narratives. What would make sense in the division? What would make sense for the fighters to do? This is the fight they should do. I don't think it's gonna happen. I hope it does. It would be a cool, interesting matchup. Silva versus Yair would be a super, flary, extravagant striking matchup. It would be cinema for UFC fans, especially the casuals, because we love the stand up, right? It would be a good fight. UFC, please make this. If not, understandable, but please make this. Next. Allen versus Garcia. So Allen just lost a decision, like I said he would, to to Silva. Thank you. Given that Allen is losing, he's on a losing streak. He won one and now he's lost one. Not losing streak, but he's on the L column right now. I'd put him against someone who's up and coming in the division, Steve Garcia. He just beat David Onama by knockout, I believe. And assuming Allen hasn't broken anything, because if he's broken his hand again, then he's going to have to fight next year like he always does, and then this matchup is completely invalid. If he hasn't, in 4 months, 5 months' time, when Allen's all healed up from his wounds, give him Garcia. This is a test for a young up-and-comer. I don't want to give Allen a young killer like Steve Garcia, but I have to. This is what he needs to do. As someone who's lost, you're high up in the rankings, you can't fight higher up than you already are. Then just give him someone who's up and coming. Unfortunately, that is Steve Garcia. I think Allen honestly could win this fight. It might be too much of a step up for Garcia, but we'd have to see. I have to get the injury report on Allen, see if he broke anything or not. All right, next. Umar beat Figueiredo. As we said, I'd give Figueiredo to Song. But I'd make this fight for the loser of Yan versus Merab. So we said O'Malley takes the winner. It makes sense that Umar would take the loser. Now, does Umar deserve the title fight at bantamweight more than O'Malley? Absolutely. He's done more. He's beaten more guys. He's been more active. He's not as much of a bitch. And he hasn't lost in the same fashion as the other guys. I think the Umar fight was way closer. Umar versus Merab was way closer than O'Malley versus Merab. And a rematch between Umar and Merab, or a fight between Umar and Yan, that would be, in my opinion, more entertaining than seeing O'Malley versus Merab 3, right? But this is kind of like a mix of what I do, mixed in with the realism, quote unquote, and the opinion of the UFC. So what I think they're gonna do. So Umar versus the loser of Yan versus Merab, and then if Umar wins, he would for sure get the next title shot, or he should get the next title shot. That's what I do. It's a tough fight either way, depending on despite which guy he gets, whether it's Yan, whether there's Merab, it's a tough fight for Umar. I think he has good chances to pull it through, especially with the game planning over at his camp, the Khabib camp. Next. And lastly, Oteba Gautier versus Shara Bullet. Now, this is the ultimate, like, recency bias, UFC casual matchup. Oteba's, Baby Ngannou, he just went to his first decision in the UFC, so that was good to see. He was not impressive at all in his striking. He was getting clipped back the whole time, the whole fight. He was getting clipped. He was getting kicked. He was getting kept at range. He was getting kind of countered a little bit, but he dropped his opponent a couple times. He won decisively, even if he had lower output. All of his strikes were significant strikes. It was a good fight, but not a good showcase from Oteba. Now, putting him against Shara is like the most unrealistic thing ever, because no way the UFC sacrifices either one of these prospects. Because, Shara lost to MVP, but that wasn't really a prospect sacrifice, because almost everyone loses to MVP. I've seen Ian Gary had a close fight with him and he won. But apart from that, most people have lost to MVP. His style is just really evasive. He doesn't really get hit. And on points, he hits and he doesn't get hit. That's the essence of his style. Stylistically, this fight's very interesting. It would be like, let's test how good Shara Bullet's chin is, basically. And let's test how durable or how much Oteba Gautier can improve from the fight he just had to this fight. He would have to better his striking offense, better his striking variety. He has to add some more weapons, some more wrinkles to his game, so to speak, and see whether he can, whether he can keep up with Shara. Obviously, Shara, I think, should be the favorite given this fight, but we can also see if Oteba has any grappling at all, which we haven't seen. I don't think, even in his fights outside the UFC, if I remember correctly, he hasn't grappled at all. So we have to see, is he going to grapple Shara? Is he going to try to go for the knockout? Is Shara going to grapple him? We saw Shara grappling Armin in that one grappling match they had. It went to a draw. Although, if it was scored by points, you would give that to Armin for sure. But yeah, make this fight. They're not going to make this fight, but but make it. It would be fire. This would be honestly like a main card opener for a big card, or even maybe like the second fight of the main card. Definitely not a prelim fight, unless it's a super crazy, like if it's a UFC 300 card, then yeah, this would be in the prelims. But it's not. We're not gonna get that. I don't think we're gonna get anything near that until maybe the White House card in June, July. But yeah, make those fights. Thank you guys for watching. What fights would you guys make after UFC 324? What did you think of UFC 24, of the main event, the co-main? Who did you guys have winning? How many predictions did you get right? You included, we went 6 of 8 on our predictions. I'll be releasing a couple of videos related to the next card this weekend. We got back-to-back weekends with UFC cards. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and thank you for watching. I'm going to go use the toilet. Yeah.